whatever is happening in Kenya was bound to happen. And it's only that the appointed time was this year and this month. When you have too much power vested in one man, when one man is calling the shots in the entire country, there will be a societal breakdown. This man, whether president, whether who, if one man calls the shots, he'll be biased, he'll have his preferences, and there are things he'll get wrong. And this man has some people who wield influence on his decisions. He's not the final authority. The president has IMF behind him. He has people pulling the strings. He has the West pulling the strings, America pulling the strings. So he will make decisions based on where the most pressure comes from. And even as we say that our legislature should act and vote against the bill, the legislature also dances to the tune of the executive. If the president calls a meeting and issues a directive from State House, woe unto you if you are an MP, if you are a member of National Assembly from his party, and you go against the grain. So we need to change the current setup where one man, this primitive aspect of leadership, primitive in the sense that instead of having cross-section of views from all forums and all sectors factored in, Kenya, we have a perception and a fallacy that, there was public participation. But to what end? Were the views of the public really, honestly, and with goodwill and with openness, were they factored in the finance bill? I don't think so. Everything worked to the whims and the objective of one man. So when I hear the GenZ demonstrators calling out Ruto, down with Ruto, out with Ruto, it's because he presents the biggest threat right now to the living, sustainable cost of living in Kenya. He has an obligation where he needs to demonstrate to the West and to IMF that he can, and Kenya can, foot the bills. Kenya can pay its debts through this raised, sustained raised taxes, through this incursion and sustained increases in taxes. It's unfortunate, but this time had to come. One way or the other, it was coming, and nothing would have stopped it. Everything, the Bible speaks of there being a season for everything. A time to sow, a time to reap. A time for peace, a time for war. A time to come and a time to go. A time to be born, a time to die. There is time for everything under the sun. And make no mistake, this is not an accident. Whatever is happening was preordained and predestined to happen as is and when it is happening. As and when it is happening. So it will take its natural course, but for this country to get better, this has to happen. These rumbles, these waves of change have to sweep this nation. And who better than the youngest, most energetic cluster in society, which is the Gen Z. The youngest, most optimistic, most energetic, and with the most to lose, because they are the majority. I think right now 80% of our country consists of people born 1990 onwards? Yes. So this is their country. They have so much at stake, and they'll be the bridge for this change that we need to see, and for future generations to harness from the work they're doing now. I think ours as millennials and older generations is to support them. If you are able to get into the demonstrations, if you can't directly get into the demonstrations, fund, buy water, buy masks, and in whichever capacity you can, sustain the demonstrations. And the other way you can participate is by educating yourself. Arm yourself with information. Let the information be at your fingertips so that nobody can challenge or try and pull wool over your eyes. Nobody can twist or misrepresent or give you information that is not complete, that is not accurate, and that is not factual. I think that is my take as far as this finance bill is concerned, and I completely reject, as Anthony Matu, I completely, utterly, absolutely reject finance bill, and I support what Gen Z are doing. You make sure the message and the point is put across, and the waves of change are here with us as a Kenyan society. This primitivity needs to be squashed. This idea that one man can primitively lord over a whole country, him and his cronies can primitively accumulate money and taxes, siphon taxes meant for our development, for personal gain and personal use. That notion needs to stop. And as a society, I think this is the high time everybody got their voices out there. Whichever capacity, whichever sphere of influence you're in, whichever area of influence you're in, use it to put the point across, and use it to eliminate this scourge of primitive and uncouth leadership. It's time for proper governance. Yes.